Ah, hello and welcome to Mildly Interesting People. This is the production meeting. We're trying something new this time. We're actually going to do a YouTube live. And if you're watching the recording, we're thinking about doing this more often. And I'm extremely nervous for some reason. I'm Rick Turoczy. This is Cami Chaos. She's the talent. Hello, Cami. How are you doing today?
Um, I find that I am exceptionally less nervous than when we
Hmm.
record this because I think when we're recording, my primary concern is messing up and making more editing work for you.
Uh huh.
And live, it just goes live and it's fine. And
That's
so
fair.
I feel like I'm in my element right now.
Well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad someone does. But I'm excited to test this format
Okay.
to see if it works. Granted, timing might not be great Sunday on Memorial Day weekend at noon, but it may also be a good time for us to just test this without anybody watching. So it will be
I feel
just
like
like a
it's a
normal
safety.
recording.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it's a safety net.
Yeah, and I needed to test the tech to make sure that our streaming stuff worked the way I
So
expected it to.
when you said not the best time for it, I thought you meant because I've been like sleeping 14 hours a day for a week and exhausted all the time with a sore
No.
throat. No, nothing to do
Oh
with
no,
that.
you're the talent. You have to power through to participate in the recordings. I can be sick behind the scenes, but you need to be char-
Excuse me.
charming and peppy and things.
Um, I'm
So let me
not
kick it
charming.
off. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes you are. Okay, so for those who haven't been here before, the production meeting is really our behind the scenes meeting for mildly interesting people, where we give you a look behind the scenes on what's going on as we're developing content, trying to build this channel, trying to build the podcast following, but also a place where we kind of beta test new concepts like live and things like that. So welcome. If you're here, you're part of the production crew. Congratulations. So you can go ahead and put that on your LinkedIn, and I'm sure it'll do one for you. The agenda, which I'm in charge of, is welcome, which we're in the middle of. We will spend some time just chatting about what's going on, what shows we're watching, things that we might have opinions on that we want to share. Then we'll get into test driving mildly interesting questions, which is our lightning round of questions that we usually give to guests, but Cami and I kind of test new questions on one another. Then we'll get into the actual production meeting. We'll talk about stats. We'll talk about what's going on, subscribers, all that kind of thing. New things we're thinking about trying, probably also upcoming guests or people we're trying to book. And then we're done. Cami, anything else you want to add to the agenda this week?
No,
Okay. How's your energy
I think
level? Good. Real good, huh?
super. It's real good.
Okay. So Uh, I know at the outset, Cami wanted to talk about some things we're watching and some thoughts she had on some shows we've been tracking. We probably won't be talking about Ant-Man Quantidinilinium blah blah because it was not good. We were really hopeful, but no. And we both like Paul Rudd an awful lot.
No, I think that we both love Paul Rudd. Like
He's
Paul
great.
Rudd is he's up there with Jake Gyllenhaal in our household.
I think the best part of the movie were the two Welcome Back Cotter segments.
Cuts, yeah,
Yeah.
those were really delightful. Uh, so things we're watching. I don't remember watching Silo, although I know. Let me start. Let me kick off the what we're watching segment with. I was exposed to COVID on my business trip,
Ta-da.
and Tuesday, so a couple days after I got home, I started having symptoms. But I keep testing negative over and over again, which is like it's fantastic. I don't want COVID. Don't get me wrong, but I do want to know
Even
why.
with doctor
Yeah,
testing.
my the home testing was going negative, so because I have several pre-existing conditions, I decided to be responsible and go see the doctor and get a more valid test, but also to get my lungs checked out and stuff because I don't want to die. Uh, and so I keep testing negative, but I have I'm not going to go into the symptoms. I have symptoms and I'm sleeping at least 14 hours a day right now, which is half the day for those of you counting. And Rick and I are quarantining from one another in our own home, which is kind of like one long running episode of Mildly Interesting People, actually, because what it
Yep.
looks like is me upstairs and Rick in the basement. And then us in the backyard, which means the cat has learned. Now I'm babbling. The cat has learned to live in the backyard. He is now insistent that he's an outside cat. He's not. He's a backyard cat. Anyway, I'm really tired, and so if my energy is lacking, I'm sorry. I'm also not doing anything helpful for anyone ever in any part of my life right now, except for sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember watching Silo, but Rick assures me that I didn't miss much last week.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to talk about Succession
Okay. The finale is tonight, right?
tonight. Correct, I think. I am, however, ready to talk about Ted Lasso with the preface that we're not going to watch this most recent episode. We're going to wait and watch the last 2 episodes together. But there is some spoiler content here, so if you want to skip or mute or whatever, I'll go like this if you just want to mute, and I'll tell you when I'm done with the spoiler stuff if you're not caught up with Ted Lasso. Are you ready?
Go.
People? Rick? Okay.
Yes.
I think it's no secret that Ted Lasso is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. And now I have to do something that I rarely do, but I'm going to weigh in from a very specific segment of who I am as a person. As a bisexual woman, I was super thrilled to have representation in Keeley and have it not be a big deal that she was dating a woman. I was like, yay, this is fantastic. This is what I like to see in the world. But I feel like they made the woman she was dating such an asshole on purpose that I was super happy when she got back together with a guy. I like guys. Guys are great. Rick, do I like guys?
Mm-hmm.
I like you. Yeah.
Mm.
And I love the relationship. I didn't say who she got back together with, just that she got back together with a male on the show. So that's fine. That's not quite the spoiler. I love the relationship that she went back to. It's Roy. It couldn't be anyone other than Roy. I love Roy. I'm sure that's very surprising to you that I love a grump, but whatever. I was so excited that she got back together with Roy that it took me until today to realize what set wrong, and it was that they set up the entire relationship with Jack to be like a toxic relationship with a woman, so that then we were all happy that she got back together with Roy. Despite that, I'm still happy that she got back together with Roy. These are my feelings.
Cool. Give people a thumbs up now that you're done spoiling things.
I'm done
thumbs up.
spoiling things.
2. There we go. Right.
I have a lot of feelings about that. That was the abbreviated version of my feelings. I've spent a week thinking about this.
She'll be recording a series of short reels on Facebook and Instagram to explain her feelings about Ted Lasso.
So many feelings.
Join us next week on Cami's Feels about Ted Lasso.
The biggest feel is actually, why is Trent Crimm the best character ever written for television?
It's pretty good.
All right.
He's grumpy too. He's like a more refined Roy Kent.
He is. I have a type apparently.
Apparently.
Okay.
As I drown myself in my drink. All right. So anything else you wanted to cover? You got Silo. We covered Ant-Man. We covered Succession, which we're waiting on.
Do you want to talk about that weird mom kidnapping Lost movie? That was awful. But I loved what they went at. Like, I loved. Yes, let's talk about it.
It reminded me of that seance. But what was the seance movie where they do it all via Zoom?
I've had to ask Kate the name of this movie so many times because she's the one that recommended it to me originally.
Yeah,
but Host. The Host or Host?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a movie that everything takes place over Zoom, and obviously it was recorded during the pandemic or part of the pandemic fun, and it was well done. And this one was really like I pretty much the whole thing is You know how Blair Witch Project is like a found footage film, like it's video or film that they found and they're rewatching it and kind of putting it together. It's very much that style, but it all takes place over FaceTime and WhatsApp and iMessage and all these things. So there's not really any footage or well, and Ring, like your doorbell
Yeah.
footage. All
Oh,
the footage.
the
It's
use of
all
Ring was
it's
phenomenal,
all
I thought.
yeah, it's all found footage, so it's a super interesting kind of way to experience something happening, and lots of twists in it. Like I was surprised at how well it kept me entertained throughout the whole thing.
Yes, I was engaged for sure. And I think
Hmm.
part of that was the filmmaking style, using all of that found footage and using all of these apps that we either do use every day or that we're familiar with,
Hmm.
really kept pulling me back in. Also, the guy that played Javi was fantastic. He's absolutely phenomenal in the movie.
He's a great actor.
And the young actor who played the main character was from uh,
She was in. She was.
Mushrooms.
She, The Last of Us.
The Last of
She was.
Us,
Yeah.
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 And she was
She was
delightful.
tagging along with the two for a little bit on The Last of Us. Uh, there was some. Oh, Javi wasn't, and I hate to even say this, wasn't he a Bond villain in like one of the Timothy Dalton
Oh, that
films?
might be. I'm gonna look it up.
He might have been. Anyway, he the guy who plays Javi usually plays like a drug lord kind of guy, but
It was so nice to
he was
see
a
him
nice guy
like.
this time.
It was so nice to see him like with kindness, and I loved
Yeah,
that.
yeah, he was good.
What? Do do do.
All right, so that's what we're watching. All that stuff.
Yeah.
Excited for Succession.
Oh God, and it had Ken Young in it as well. I forgot,
Oh yeah,
and I
yeah,
really like him.
yeah. He's good.
Okay,
Um,
Javi's name is Joaquin de Alameda,
hmm.
and he's best known. Oh, it's Felix Cortez and Clear and Present Danger. I think that's what you're thinking.
Oh, probably, yeah. I knew
Yeah,
it was a spy kind of thing.
yeah. Okay, that's what we're watching. We've talked about quarantining in our own home. Wouldn't recommend it. However, it does force you to explore uh, new things about your home that you can fix or can enjoy.
Yep. Uh, should we get into beta testing mildly interesting questions?
Yes, we
Cool.
should.
Okay.
Do I ask you first?
Hmm.
Are you ready?
Yeah, for people who don't know the rules, mildly interesting questions. It's a lightning round. 5 questions. I've never seen them before. Have to answer as rapidly as I can. If there's one where I get stuck, I'm allowed to pass, but I have to come back to it.
Family Feud rules, you have to come back to it, but with no timer.
Right.
And there is the optional, you may have a cat on your lap if you need to,
Hmm.
but Rick rarely makes use of that.
No, I try not to.
All right. It's just all my questions this week.
What?
It's just me. I am the one asking all the questions this week. I don't have any input from our loyal
Oh, I see what you're saying.
production staff. Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
Um, I have a lingering question for our production staff. I just chose to go rogue on my own this
Okay.
week. Okay,
Cool.
are we ready?
Sure.
Rick, if money wasn't an issue, what would you do with your time?
Uh, Good question. I think I would still do kind of the same thing that I do, which is help people, like mentor, coach, that kind of stuff. But I think I would do it um, because I do that for work. I always feel like I have to do it at like a significant scale to make it meaningful or whatever. And I think I would do it on a very reduced scale where it could just be like visualized, like one-on-one, almost, like the
Like
Rick
coaching an
Rubin,
individual
like
contributor.
like the Rick Rubin Shangri-La stuff. Like, come hang out for a week, let's figure it out, and then go away, and then
I would
we'll
love
see
for
how it
that to
goes.
happen for you. That would be
I think I'd be
beautiful.
good at it. Yeah.
I think we could also have like a horse or something if you did that, or chickens
Or
or
a pony.
something.
You want a pony?
Yeah, I do. I kind of want a pony. I'll
Yeah.
put
So I think
that.
that's what I would do. Like
Okay.
that is really fulfilling, and I enjoy it. But I need to do it in short bursts, and then probably in between, like create content of some sort, like write or podcast or do whatever. If money
Okay.
wasn't a big deal.
That's a great answer. Thank you.
Hmm.
Any answer would have been accepted, but that was fantastic and,
Cool.
and made me feel happy for your heart. What's your favorite thing about living in Portland?
I've said this time and time again, so forgive me if you've heard it, but my favorite thing about living in Portland is it is a city that is large enough to be statistically relevant, but it's still small enough that one person can make a difference. And so that's what's really compelling to me. And that doesn't necessarily need to be like mission driven difference. It could be a chef or a barista or a brewer or people like that, or an artist who they can have significant impact on the community as an individual and still kind of change the community for the better. And I think that's what I like about it.
I would not have thought of that answer. I love that answer. And as you were saying that, like 5 people who have made a huge difference in Portland, in my opinion, through their acts of service,
Mm-hmm.
came to mind. Especially one who I've never said, hey, I want to have you on my show. I don't think she knows that I have a show or knows me really, but there's an artist who is an artist who also does these beautiful community acts of service that I would like to invite on the show because of what you just said. One person can make a difference. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's my
You're-
favorite thing about Portland.
You're really heartfelt today, or my questions are really emotional. I'm not sure.
Or you're in a stupor from
I
being
am
under the
in-
weather.
I am in a stupor.
Mhm.
Okay, this one is a little more. Well, this one would be challenging for me. It's more of the kind of question
Okay.
that you tend to ask, and it is requires you to think of specific titles of things. Okay.
Okay. All right.
You can only listen to 3 albums for the rest of your life. What are they? And I don't mean a record. It can be any format. You can have it digitally, but like an album as created by the artist. Like when we were kids, each album was specially curated.
Not a greatest hits album.
If it exists, you could select it.
Okay. I don't know if it. I know I've purchased some compilations. Like there's a Beastie Boys compilation that's like 5 discs.
Okay, so the Beastie
That-
Boys 5 disc compilation.
That's one of them.
Okay, that's a
Uh,
great. Mm-hmm.
I would say Paul Simon's greatest hits, because he's got like such a wide variety of things. And then I'm struggling between like John Coltrane album and a John Lee Hooker album, but it'd be a toss up between, and it could be anyone. It could be any of those, but I don't know which one.
I would have to go with Hooker, but that is just like so tight between those two. That's excellent. So Coltrane / John Lee Hooker as the number 3, duking it out. All right. A next question:
Yes.
a Kindle version of a book or a physical copy of a book, and why?
Kindle. I enjoy physical books, but for me, part of the reason I'm reading is to expand my thought, vision, knowledge, whatever. And I really appreciate the ability to highlight passages in the Kindle and capture them elsewhere so that I can refer to them on a regular basis. So I really like that part of it. I like that more than physically holding a book.
Okay. I also think that I don't frequently ask a question that might be great for our next set of guest MIQs,
Mhm.
but I think this one feels pretty
I
good
like
to
that
me.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. And then why do you hate yard work?
Uh, I just, it's just that like I don't. It's nature. Why are you fucking with nature? Just leave it alone. What are you better than nature? You're gonna improve upon nature? No. Leave the yard alone. Just let it do its thing. That's why I hate yard work, because you're holier than thou on your view of what nature should be doing. Also, it changes constantly. It's not like interior design where you're like, I put that couch there and it grew 3 sizes over the next 3 months. That confuses the shit out of me. I hate that.
Okay, this you answered the question, accepted. But now that has prompted a conversation if that's okay for
Sure.
me.
What's up?
You don't mind when I do yard work.
No,
Like
that's fine.
I feel like you prefer the backyard in the state that I've curated it to than you do to the nature mess of the backyard.
Uh, well, there are 2 seats and a table that I use. I'm not dealing with any of the stuff you've done to the backyard.
I put the chairs and the table there.
Yeah, but that's not yard work. That's exterior design.
Will you feel differently when the tomato plants come to fruition?
I don't know.
Okay. You're not
I can't.
dampening. I love
I
the backyard.
can't.
I'm
I
happy.
can't
There are
honestly answer
pillows.
that.
There are pillows. There's a beautiful wind chime. There's about to be a hummingbird feeder. The only thing I don't like about the backyard are mosquitoes.
All the things you've described thus far have nothing to do with yard work.
The planting beds had I did so much yard work to get the
No,
raised beds
but the
in.
things you just described were like the hummingbird feeder, the wind chimes, the blah blah
Oh,
blah.
well, I had to cut down all the gross things and dig up this giant shrub that was just growing. It was growing wild. It was nature. There was nature in my backyard.
Hmm.
There's still our nature is like
As there
75%.
should be.
Our backyard is 75% nature, and then like 25% me clearing space for planting vegetables and sitting with our fire pit. Okay, you have completed this week's mildly interesting questions for Rick.
Excellent. It's my first live, mildly interesting question, and
How did it feel?
I didn't get any negative feedback in chat because nobody's watching.
Because no
this.
one's here. See,
It's
if you were
just-
here,
it's just like
if you were
recording.
here, you could have criticized him.
You could have been like, "No, you're wrong about that. Books are way better than a Kindle." But
I'm
no,
gonna.
You didn't show up, so you can't say that.
I apologize. I know this is live. I need to step away. I don't have a tissue, and I have the need of a
Please do.
tissue.
Just, yeah.
But I can still
turn,
hear you.
You could turn your camera off when you need to do that, so you don't feel
What?
weird.
That's true. I just don't have.
All right, so now I'm alone on a live broadcast. So if you have any questions for me, those of you out there in the live YouTube land.
But oh, wait, there's
Feel
no one
free.
here.
Oh, wait, maybe I'll type a question to myself because it comes through as mildly interesting people, not me.
I'm here.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, are you ready for your mildly interesting questions?
Yes.
Okay.
So ready.
Okay, so, I did not check one thing to make sure that. Oh, good, cool. I never checked to make sure our audio was broadcasting.
That
So
would be
it
bad.
might have just been a silent movie for a while, or the closed captions. People could have watched it. Did you have something before you have your?
It's a production note. I just added it to my production note section.
Cami, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Cool. So same rules apply. If you just
I don't.
tuned in,
I don't have a lap cat.
if you just tuned in, Cami can answer the questions as rapidly as she can. She's never heard them before. She can pass if she needs to. That's about it. Okay. Wow, she's taking her hair down. She's getting serious. All right.
Sorry, it's a mess, but
It's fine.
yeah.
First question, inspired by our interview we posted last week.
With Marcelino Alvarez.
What is your favorite cold sandwich?
There's a lot of feelings involved in this answer. My favorite cold sandwich is a sandwich from the Baker's Mark that I cannot have.
Yep.
I cannot remember the name of it, but it's the one with all the various different kinds of meats on it. Some provolone cheese on the Dutch crunch bread with the mild pepper salad, add olives, mustard, and salad dressing. Italian dressing. And it is, like, I'm not joking when I say I dream of this sandwich sometimes. I've gotten it once on gluten-free bread, and it's not the same. It's just not the same.
If you've never been to the Baker's Mark, we'll link it up.
Sincerely, my favorite sandwich. And all their sandwiches are good, but that sandwich, is it the Godfather or something? I don't know what it's called.
No, I think it starts with a B, but I can't remember.
I wanted to call it the Bogfather, so that's funny. But yeah, that sandwich, it is my all-time favorite cold sandwich. And I kind of feel like after having the New Cascadia hoagie hot dog situation yesterday, I kind of feel inspired to like go buy a Baker's Mark sandwich, bring it home, take everything off of it, put it onto the hoagie from New Cascadia. Because I just like... The bread is so much a part of the experience at Baker's Mark that their gluten-free bread is not at all the same. I'm sure it's a good gluten-free bread, but it's also not as good as New Cascadia's. So there you go. So my ultimate cold sandwich would be a New Cascadia fresh hoagie roll with the internal things of the borgata.
There it goes.
That's the name of my sandwich, the borgata from Baker's Mark.
Yeah. I had burrata in my head, and I didn't want to say it because I was afraid it would not do the right thing. So
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you remembered that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Second question. Do you prefer doing live shows or recorded shows?
Live.
Why?
Anything.
Because
can
your
happen.
energy level is so high. during
My
live shows?
energy level is so much higher during live shows.
As you can tell.
Honestly, y'all, I wouldn't be awake right now if this wasn't live. I would be back in bed. I love doing live shows. There's something, it is natural to me. I'm having a conversation, and I'm having a conversation in full view of other humans. I like this even more in front of even in front of an audience. I find this, I'm an introvert because people having so many, not because, I mean, this is a part of it. Having so many people draw my energy is a lot, but having so many people support and give me their energy while I'm having a conversation with another person just feels energizing and beautiful to me. So like when I'm sitting there and I'm talking to a person, say we were interviewing Mars in front of a live studio audience, all of the love and affection that people are feeling for what's being shared in this group, in this small group setting, just is so invigorating. And so yes, live. Fuck you! I'm not even coherent right now, but live.
It's so invigorating.
I'm so tired.
Okay.
Cool. I only slept 12 hours last night, Rick.
It's fine. It's fine. You're under the weather. You're not doing well. You're being a champ.
Also,
Suck it up.
emotionally speaking, I'm just terrified. I have to keep testing negative until Friday. And I can't see my family or anyone really. And so I'm tired. Also, I'm happy because I don't have to see anybody, but whatever. Let's go.
Cool. Okay, next question.
Was that number 2?
That was 2. This is 3.
These are interesting. They're good questions. Let's go.
Which hip hop artist surprised you most as an actor, either serious or comedy?
Queen Latifah.
Is that dog throwing you off? I can hear a dog barking somewhere.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Queen Latifah.
Good answer. She
Thank
was on
you.
my list.
She's great. She's fantastic.
Yep.
I did not expect her. Like, she came out the gate swinging. She was just like, oh, yeah, you might know me as a musical artist, but I'm a full blown actor and I can do
Yeah.
anything. And it was both comedic and serious. And so, yeah, Queen Latifah.
Yeah, I mean, her role in House Party is beyond reproach. No, I was gonna say she was on my list. She was only further down the list because she was such an intelligent MC. Like, her lyrics and the way she wrote, like, my expectation was, well, she's really smart and she will be really good at doing this. I think the bigger delta for me was Ice-T.
Ice-T was the second, like, he was second on my list. Ice-T
Yeah.
was like, he close tie. But with Queen Latifah, it very much was, she's so articulate and so intelligent. And there's
Yep.
so much of her and what I don't know, I've never met her. I feel is her personality and who she is truly as a human in her art.
Mm-hmm.
That to see her then be able to be a completely different person on screen was really amazing.
Cool. Good answer.
Thank you.
This one's kind of mean, but
Oh, boy.
I'm really proud of it.
Okay.
And
I'm ready.
you know, all you people who are watching on the live stream right now, that would be 0 of you. So this has been a good experiment so far. So here's your next question. You can only it's a rest of your life question. You know how I love the rest of your life questions.
Dude, they're your favorite.
But I'm foregoing a what's the deal with
Oh.
in favor of for the rest of your life.
Okay.
You can only watch one form of entertainment for the rest of your life. Is it 80s after school specials or 90s Disney TV?
90s Disney TV, but
Wow.
only by a fraction. That's awful.
That's aggressive. Sweet life.
At like 80s, hey, Wizards of Waverly Place, man.
Oh yeah.
I love the Wizards of Waverly Place.
Was the witch thing a Disney thing, the Sabrina, or was that regular television?
No, if Sabrina was Disney, then you better believe that would be
Yep.
my answer. But yeah, no, I'm sorry. 90s Disney.
All right. Cool.
Selena Gomez was a fucking star.
Good for you. Enjoy your 90s Disney TV. Okay.
What's up, Charlie? Was
What's
that
Up,
the
Charlie?
show?
That was this
That was in the
century.
thousands? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Good Luck Charlie was the name of it.
Good Luck, Charlie. That was a well done show. I enjoyed it.
That ran for a long time too.
Yeah.
And I've watched more episodes of it than I care to admit. So
You've watched episodes of it. Let's be really transparent. You have watched episodes of that show when none of our children are around with me.
yeah, it's that good.
It's that good. In case you were looking for a family-friendly Disney Channel show, What's Up, Charlie?
Good Luck Charlie.
Good Luck, Charlie. Whatever.
What's up, Charlie?
What's up?
That's the sequel. Right. Last question. I'll wait for you to finish your drink.
Oh, okay.
Well, not finish drinking is what I meant. Okay.
Well, it was almost gone.
Last question. You have to pick a new location to live outside of Oregon. You'll automatically know the language and customs of any foreign non-U.S. kind of thing, so you'll blend right in. Where do you choose?
I don't know enough about the world and all the places I want to explore. I haven't been enough places to make this decision.
It can be someplace you've been.
Yeah, but what if a place I've been... What's the name of the city I wanted to move to after watching that crime show? With the bridge.
Yeah, I know.
And
what
it's
you're
got all
talking
those
about.
cute little alleyways.
It's in Sweden.
Yes.
It's in southern Sweden. It's one syllable. I can't remember the name.
That's
of it.
where I want to move.
Okay. You think they'll accept a Finn in Sweden, or do you think they'll deport?
Why did you tell them I'm Finnish? Why would you tell them I'm Finnish?
Somebody needs to protect the Scandinavians from the Russians.
Okay, Rick has just outed me as a Finn. And like not a little bit Finnish, like
No, obsession with knives. Check.
I am the most of my biological makeup that exists is I think I'm 50% Finnish. I'm so Finnish.
Mm-hmm.
I should learn to speak Finnish, aside from the word pula, which means bread, and is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Cool.
What is the name of that fucking city?
I don't know. I can't remember.
We researched it so much after deciding we decided we wanted to move there because it was this cute little show. The show was a murdery show, but the city was so cute.
This cute little murdery show. You know.
The city was so cute, and then it's like right over the bridge to the Netherlands, and
But isn't it like a bridge and a tunnel? Doesn't it like you could go over a bridge and then you go down into a tunnel thing? I can't remember.
that was a great question.
I thought you'd pick
But
Barcelona or something.
too crowded, too many people, too much peopling. I was actually thinking somewhere in South America because the landscape is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I think that little, yeah.
I can't remember the name of it. It sounds like a piece of IKEA furniture, if that helps.
It does. It does. That's why I can't remember the name of it.
Okay. You have successfully completed your mildly interesting questions. I'm submitting your responses to the mildly interesting archive
Thank
to
you.
be recorded and tabulated for future use. So congratulations on that. Now that we're done with the fun, we need to get to the worky part of the meeting. It's the production meeting.
I have two actual production notes. And a random statement.
Production meeting is the part where we kind of go through what's going on, we share stats, really just give you behind the scenes what's happening with the show, what we're feeling is working well, what's disappointing to us, all that kind of thing. So if you're working on your own content and feel like you need some peer support or kind of curious how other things are going, that's why we do this, is to try and be helpful. So Cami, go ahead with your production notes.
Is it stats time?
I thought you had notes ahead of stats.
Oh, I do have a note, but it's going to be a dumb note. I need a dolly or something. I need a little cute... I need something that sits up here.
So you keep looking at the camera?
Yeah, because I keep looking at the screen. I keep
you know
watching
what I do
you.
is I can see a reflection of my eye in the camera, and I always try and like find my own eye in the...
How does it look right now? Does it look like I'm looking?
No, it looks like you're looking off to the side.
See, I'm looking at the apple where I need a doll or something. I need something cute up here.
Okay. Cool.
So I charge you with finding something that will draw my attention and make me look up there, please.
Okay.
As the producer.
Okay, got it.
That was my production note.
Okay. Do you want to do Instagram stats?
Yes. We have 211 followers, which is up.
3?
Uh-huh.
Wasn't it like 208 for a long
It was
time?
208 for a couple weeks. So we've actually improved. I blame Mars.
Yeah.
Because I think Mars's company followed us. And someone who used to work with him. But yeah, so anyway, I think those additional 3 followers. And I'm going to say I've done no work on the Instagram because I have been sick. But I did come up with a new format for posting when our comments or when our full episodes come out.
Yeah. No, I really
So,
like that, and I think that is a great way to
cool.
share more content with folks as we're building it.
I
Okay,
I just realized I have one more production note,
sure,
and it's
go
just an
ahead.
update for people. Our the amazing designer who has been on our show and who we've worked with in the past and who is amazing has come up with some additional prototypes or rough drafts. She has sent us some additional mildly interesting drafts,
Sketches.
sketches, and we have shared some feedback, and I would feel amazed and honored to have like any of them, but there were two of them that really made my mind go, that's what
Cool.
I want. So I was just really, I wanted to share that with all of you. It's going to be
Good
fun.
job.
It's going to be exciting. There's going to be an unveiling at some point. Not like, be patient.
This
She's
takes
getting,
time.
she's getting paid in accolades, which
Hmm.
is not, I don't encourage you ever to expect someone to work for love and support and accolades. We're very lucky.
She's not even getting exposure out of this. It's just accolades.
She could have exposure.
You get
Exposure is
exposure.
even dumber.
Exposure to who? Yeah.
You get you get our undying love.
Hmm. Okay. Cool. So Instagram stats are up 1%,
And people are engaging with our
1.5%.
even though we don't have a lot of followers, we do continue to get a lot of engagement on our reels.
Cool. That's great. Yeah, the reels seem to do really well. I don't know
Yeah.
why, especially in light of how poorly the shorts have been doing lately.
Yeah.
But I'll get into that in a second. So on other stats, podcast, 1,169 downloads so
69,
far.
dude.
So it continues just week after week to just churn right along at about the same. Like, I think we're getting new subscribers and that kind of thing, but the plays are pretty much like around 50 plays a week. So
Okay.
just watching that. On the YouTube, we are up to 243 subscribers, which is interesting because we were having a really hard time getting above the 240 mark. And that means we're only 7 people away from our next mildly interesting metric celebration of hitting 250 subscribers, which has been a goal for us. The other goal we're inching.
7 is my favorite number. Just
Cool. So let's make that happen. The other number that we've been tracking on a regular basis is the number of views, and we're at 94,500 views right now. So we're inching ever closer to the 100,000 view mark, which is great. But as I mentioned previously, like, our shorts are totally tanking as of late. I don't know if we were just more topical before or what was going on, but there was a period of time. I imagine there's also a period of time where YouTube says, you're a new channel, we're going to promote your stuff to
Yeah.
a whole bunch of people to make you feel like creating a lot more content. And we were getting hundreds, if not 1,000 or more views on pretty much every one of our shorts, and the past couple weeks it's been barely 100 views on most of our shorts. So just monitoring that. I'm not really stressed about it. I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, shorts are going to do what shorts are going to do, and every once in a while we'll kind of hit something that resonates with folks, but not. A while back that was causing me a lot of concern. Now I'm just kind of like, let's keep doing it. Let's see what happens, and like, let's keep going.
I have questions. If that's
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, for sure.
We should and should we set up a LinkedIn page for mildly interesting people?
LinkedIn.
Yeah, so that people can be like, yeah, I'm a production crew member for this thing, so that they can just tag us in it.
As there,
I'm not
as
even
a
joking.
well, but as a project, not as like really one of
Not
our
as a
jobs.
job, yes, but as a project. And then, is there a great way that we could be sharing our short content on LinkedIn? because
Not really.
sadly, LinkedIn is the social media of our era right this second.
Personally, I feel like the Mars conversation is a good example, right? Like that is business
LinkedIn content.
oriented.
Yeah.
It's like, so he talked about a lot of like the startup community and those kind of things. Like that seems very relevant. Some of the other conversations probably far less relevant for LinkedIn.
Chats would be relevant for LinkedIn.
Yeah, I mean we can try that. I keep wondering, given the engagement on Facebook, if a Facebook page wouldn't
I
make
think you're
sense
right.
to
Facebook
like,
and Instagram are where we get the most engagement on shorts for sure.
yeah, and
Facebook
then
Facebook is the place we get. I hate saying that. Facebook is the place we get the most engagement on our shorts.
yeah, it's Facebook-esque content. So I think the other thing that if folks don't know, we also do have a newsletter that goes out on a monthly basis that basically highlights any of the shows that were recorded during the last month. So we'll have that coming out here in here in this week. Yeah, because the month ends this week, so we'll be publishing
The month
this week.
ends in
So
like 2-3 days.
so that's a great way. Like if you don't want to keep us top of mind all the time, that's a great reminder to help you. I'm just dealing with chat because somebody was kind enough to show up and chat.
Hi, who is it? Do we know them?
It's Mr. T, who had been kind enough to provide some feedback on the show in the past. We subscribe to their channel, and they do a lot of kind of just like
Hi, Mr. T.
yeah, just kind of response kind of content, like, and they were kind enough to provide some feedback and show up. So thanks, Mr. T. Really appreciate it. Glad you showed up. So I think that's all stats wise that we really had for folks. Do we have anything about upcoming guests that we wanted to share with people? We do have one episode that's already been recorded that we're releasing this week, that if you're a fan of beer or like tasting or like reviewing things, that's going to be a great episode. We've been waiting to release that one until it was closer in time to like the beer festivals and that kind of thing. So that's coming out this week. Anybody else in the queue, Cami, that you're thinking of?
There are two that I'm thinking of that I'm really excited about, and they're both people who've agreed to be on the show. And one of them we've had to reschedule twice on our end, or maybe once on her end. But anyway, one of them we've had to reschedule twice, and I'm going to reach out to her and be like, hey, let's do it. And then the other one is Charcuterie Me, who she has agreed to be on the show, and I'm super excited to meet her. Let's be like, I left it to Rick to try to schedule with her, and that's not Rick's strong suit because she was nice to him.
Yeah, don't ever be nice to me. I get confused.
So that's my other one that I'm really, and then there's an artist that this episode has inspired me to reach out to me and like, hey, did you know that you're one of my favorite things about Portland? Will you be on my show, please? I'll buy more of your art, whatever.
Do we need to do another kind of volley of like, because what we did before was like we reached out to like 5 or 10 people simultaneously.
I need to do so about half of the people, so 10 people agreed. Let's say 10. I'm not sure if that's the actual number. We reached out to 10 people. 10 people are like, yes, I want to be on your show. 5 of them booked right away. And so I need to send out a volley to those other 5 people and say, hey, it's time to book. And then it's time for us, it is time for us to sit down and plan our next volley of requests. Yes.
Yeah, because I have as you well know, I have a huge list of people that we want to talk to. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the only thing is that on some of that, it might be a warmer contact for you to reach out to those folks.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I want to think through, like, let's also go through just
what's happening.
Just the general calendar of what's happening in Portland or in the world or those kind of things, so that we can time those guests appropriately.
You want to know who you haven't asked to be on the show that I need you to reach out to and ask?
Who?
I don't know their last name. David, the hot sauce dude.
Oh, yeah, Hob.
It's David, right? Hot sauce.
Hmm.
I love
He
hot
just
sauce.
he just
I
opened
know
a
he just.
bar though, so he's a
I know
little
he's
busy.
super busy. I know he's super busy, but now he could come on and he could promote the bar to our 3 listeners. And
Not on a live. We have more listeners and viewers when we're not doing
yeah,
a live.
and talk about my favorite hot sauces.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Just saying.
yeah. Yeah, he's a good one anytime over the next few months when Hot Ones is releasing new episodes because then people are in kind of a hot sauce frame of mind.
Because it's sad and weird that hot sauce has never had a Hob sauce in their lineup.
Mm-hmm. I know. It'll
I'm
happen.
just saying.
It'll
I've
happen
tried a lot
eventually.
of the Hot Ones hot sauces, and I've tried a lot of the Hob hot sauces.
Mm-hmm.
The Hob hot sauces, especially that one.
And especially if you're gluten free, Hob specifically does hot sauces for gluten free folks.
They do. It's all labeled. They do this amazing spicy soy sauce that they initially released with wheat in it, but have since released a gluten free version of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So spicy,
Great
so sinus clearing, so beautiful.
Another one that's timely that, especially given that the weather's getting warmer, is Ice Queen.
Yes.
Would be good to have her.
Oh, I'd love to have Ice Queen on the show.
Yes.
Both because she makes like those amazing paletas, but also Ice Queen is the best name ever.
They're also completely vegan.
Yes, and most of them are gluten free. Not all of them, but yeah.
Yep.
I think we can wrap up the show unless
Yeah,
we want
okay.
to talk about my plans for my hair,
No.
which I haven't even talked with my hair stylist
No,
extraordinaire about.
Let's
So
not do that. We've been on for 50 minutes at this point.
I'm tired.
So I think we let people go. Thanks to everyone who showed up for this brief experiment. So we did this at noon on Sunday on Memorial Day weekend. If regularly noon on Sunday would be a good time for you to show up, let us know. If you're like, no, I'd rather you do it in the evening on Sunday because that makes more sense and I'd be happy to show up to a live then, please, just as always, your feedback is super critical. We would love to do more lives because Cami really appreciates having the audience and the energy and that kind of thing. And so if we can figure out a way that this format works, great. Saves me some editing time and gives us actually the opportunity to engage with you live rather than posting something and expecting you to comment on it. So if you'd be up for hanging out with us on live broadcasts, tell us when would be convenient for you and we'll figure out a way to make that work. Okay,
it.
production crew. We've come to the end of another production meeting. As always, you're doing great work.
Sure.
I've written your annual review. It's been submitted to HR. You probably have 360 reviews of one another. That's all going as planned. You'll all be getting raises this year because your raise
20%.
20%, 20%
20%.
times 0 is the same thing. So good work.
But it's still 20%. We value you. You're doing great
It's
work.
documented that you got a 20% raise.
Can I have a 20% raise for this show?
Absolutely. 40.
Excellent. Oh!
You're batting
Thank you.
way above. So yeah, you get a big raise too.
Boom.
All right, friends. Thanks for joining us for this experiment, and we will try and do a live again next week.
Next
So
week.
join us then. Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, next week.